everybody, do not take it seriously here today on the Cigarette Burns, reviewing Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, or just Lady Vengeance, different titles, different areas. It's another film by Park Chan-wook. It's the third in his Vengeance trilogy that we're reviewing on this channel. And there are a lot of things that I'm going to say about this film that I loved, and there are a lot of things that I absolutely hated. So hang in there with me. Hopefully you'll enjoy my review. The cinematography in this film was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't awesome like the last one, like Old Boy. But on my level of bad, good, great, it was good. It's in the middle. Only because it seemed like a lot of the shots they were doing, they obviously had done before. And the way they were put in, it seemed like it was a, hey, we made money off of this, let's do this again. Instead of a new approach at it, instead of a new viewing of it. So that I was kind of let down on. I was hoping this film was going to be like the film that made it for me, the film that made me want to see more of his stuff. And it just wasn't. It really wasn't for me. The actors that are in this, actors and actresses, are great. They're phenomenal. I mean, that's just above and beyond great in this film. Just like they were in Old Boy, just like they were in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I didn't have a problem with the actors or actresses. I thought that they did very well. The idea of adding the red eyeshadow to make the main character seem that she was not the angel like everyone thought she was, and that she was trying to do more things that, I don't want to give too much away, sorry if I'm being vague, making her seem more of a badass, basically, than what she was originally seen as. This nice, sweet, soft girl that got, thrown into jail kind of thing. I thought that was a good addition, especially the way that they shot the first look of seeing it on her eyelids. That was awesome. I thought that was wonderful. Some of the content in the movie is, to me, it was like a shock factor content. It was a, they can't do that, oh my god, they just did. Only because his other two films, as much as I didn't like Old Boy, I would have to say I like it better than this one right now. Only because the content for the violence was original. It wasn't put in. There was imagination, there was style with Old Boy, where there wasn't that much in this film that I thought. It just seemed like they were really kind of sucking off of the coattails, basically, of Old Boy. They were just trying to, ride the money train and get it over with. It just seemed like his mentality of doing the film wasn't completely focused on this film. And I don't know if it was just because it was the last in his series, or if he was just trying to push through, get it done. It was a letdown for me on that aspect. It just seemed to me like his intention with the film, I mean, obviously he wanted it to be great. I mean, the way that it was shot, the reactions the actors and actresses had, that was all there. Like, all the fundamental ideas were there, but they weren't put together as a whole properly. I don't know if that was because, like I said, he was rushed. It seemed like he was rushed to me, and that kind of ruined it for the film, as far as me enjoying, the storyline for that. Getting into the storyline, hated it. Absolutely hated it. I understood it, don't get me wrong. I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he did the things that he did in the storyline. I don't think he should have taken almost 2 hours or over 2 hours to explain it all. It was another, 45-minute hour story that was just stretched, and instead of it being stretched to the point of liking, what they did and drawing it out and making you really focus on what's going on with the characters, I just really found myself going, okay, when's the next scene? Seriously. Because I just could not get involved in the plot the way that he had put it together. And I think, like I said, it was because it just seemed like it was rushed and thrown together. It didn't seem like it was thought through that well. This part's kind of a spoiler, only because I have to talk about this part, so if you have not seen the film yet, please do not watch this next part, okay? Give you like 5 seconds. Okay, don't watch the rest of this if you have not seen it. The scene where they show the parents looking at the videos of the kids that had been abducted and murdered and seeing all of the stuff that had happened for the torture sequences, all of that, to me, that, yes, it should have been in the film. Should it have taken as long as it did? No. Definitely not. It would have been more of a shock factor, like he was doing through the entire film, to me, it seemed like, if he had shown bits and pieces, or if he had simply just shown the parents' reaction with the audio in the background. It really pulled away from the horror of them seeing what happened. I mean, yes, you can understand that there's the vengeance here, that they're going to get back, obviously, at the person who did it, and that's really just all it was. It was drawn out entirely too long. There was just too much going on that shouldn't have been going on, that I thought. It was just too drawn out. It could have been short. Okay, so that scene itself, obviously, was not one of my favorites. It could have been done in, honestly, less than 5 minutes. It didn't need to be shot the way it was shot. And the views that he used to show the parents' faces, I thought could have been much better. Instead of doing a far away shot of many people at once, he could have done an up-close viewing of how they reacted to the videos that they were watching, like I was saying earlier. I just think that whole scene could have been shot better. I mean, obviously, I'm not a filmmaker that's making lots of money. I make my own films, but to me, it just seemed like it should have been done a lot better than that. It was, again, following along in the sequence of throwing things together in the movie, which I absolutely hate. If you're going to rush a movie, don't do the movie at all. If you're not going to focus on what's going on in the movie and you're just going to slap it together and ride the coattails of the other two movies that are wonderful, don't bother making the movie. Because people who actually love the first two movies, or even me, I liked the first one, not all of it, but yes, I did like it. The second one, no, I may not have liked it. However, I think this third film is a complete disgrace to his name. I honestly do. Instead of using the violence as, you know, this is how it's going to happen, this is why he's getting back, it was constant flashbacks, which if you don't pay attention completely to everything going on in the movie, you won't follow along. And flashbacks used appropriately and in just the right spots work great in a film. Flashbacks thrown in to elongate what the film should be, bad idea. Very bad idea. That was one of the reasons why, for me, I didn't even want to sit through the rest of it. I watched the rest of it. I watched it all the way through. And it seemed like it wasn't his best work, obviously, and it definitely seemed like it was just thrown together. Obviously, sequels from an original movie aren't always going to be better or the same. In some rare instances, they are. But this just kind of follows along with that whole, you know, the sequel's not as good as the first, don't bother watching it. It falls into that category for me, which I don't like. I mean, you know, obviously, I don't like this film for the story, the plot line and everything else. I did like the cinematography, most of it. Like I said, it was a level of good, not great, like the second one was. And I think the second one was just shot beautifully compared to this one. This one just seemed more like trash to me than anything else. I liked the actors, the characters, the way they portrayed everything that was going on. I think they did an excellent job. But if he could just figure out how to fix the storyline in the film instead of making it the way that it was. You can't take a person on a journey for 2 hours and expect them not to get bored when they're not explaining anything. They're doing constant flashbacks, and the main character is trying to figure out what's going on, and at the same time you're confused because the plot line jumps so many times. You know, if it's going to be a mystery film about what's going on, make it a mystery film. If it's going to be a violence film, make it a violence film. You can combine the two as long as they mesh well together. If they don't mesh well together, there's no point in watching the rest of the film because it's just going to be, oh, okay, you can fast forward this part because I already can guess what's going to happen here, or I don't care what's going to happen here. It doesn't keep the viewer intrigued as to what's going on in the film. And that's my biggest complaint with this one, is that even though everything else was great, it wasn't enough with the storyline being as bad as it was to keep me wanting to watch the rest of it. You know, and like on the second one, if you watch my Old Boy review, you know that I had a huge problem with that storyline. I thought everything else was great on it, but with this one, here's Old Boy and here's Lady Vengeance. Okay, big difference as far as what the quality of the output of the film was. And I don't think, honestly, he should have even made the film the way that it was. You know, it's a disgrace to the actors, in my opinion. Only my opinion, by the way, that he put them through 2 hours of film when he could have made it simply an hour and a half, an hour, and still explained everything without this extra half an hour of dead space throughout the film. I can't put myself through watching 2 hours of that again. So, you know, I suggest that, you know, you guys should watch it, obviously. Get your own opinion of the film. This is not one that I'm going to watch again. And if I was to buy the Vengeance trilogy, I probably would never open that disc. Honestly, I just wouldn't. So, I hope you guys enjoyed my review today, as harsh as it may have been. Sorry. Stay tuned for some more stuff coming up on the Cigarette Burns. We're going to have some great stuff going on. Hope to see you guys soon.